Okay, in the second part of this video, what we are going to do is look at the Punnett square and genetic inheritance 6-mark question. But what we're going to do this time is look at an exemplar answer, and together we'll look at how marks would have been awarded to that response. Okay, so just a reminder of the question. A father with the genotype of 2 capital Ds and a mother with the genotype of 2 lowercase ds for sickle cell disease had a number of children. Explain why none of the children will have sickle cell disease and use a Punnett square or genetic diagram to help your explanation. Now I want you to just glance over the marking criteria for this response. Look at each level individually and have a look at how you move on to the next level. What I'm going to get you to do in a second is to pause that to look at that in a bit more detail. So if you can do that now. Okay, now that you've had a chance to look over that, okay, you can keep flicking back to it if you want, but let's have a little look at the exemplar answer. Okay, so looking at this response, the first thing that I would pick up on is they have done a Punnett square, and they've got the father's alleles up at the top here, and they've got the mother's alleles down at the side here, and they have crossed these all correctly. So our Punnett square is all correct. Okay, so that's really good. Then the second part of the question, if you remember, is to then explain what this shows. So they've said each child will receive a gene from each parent. Excellent. As the father has a dominant non-sickle cell allele, this will always be passed on to the child. Now this is good. So they've actually picked out from the question that the dominant allele is the non-sickle cell allele. And the dominant will always be passed on, and they know that from this Punnett square. So along with the mother's recessive allele. So the mother's recessive allele is always passed on as well, again seen in the Punnett square. This will make the children heterozygous. Good use of key terminology there. With different alleles. That's what heterozygous is. They've gone on to explain what that key word means. Although the children will be carriers, excellent, of the sickle cell, they will never be sufferers from it. So they have fully explained why they are not going to suffer from it. The other thing about this response is that you used lots of key terminology throughout. Okay, now I think this is a really strong answer, but let's see what the examiner said. Okay, so the candidate has provided a correct Punnett square and therefore was already awarded 4 marks as it is communicated well. So interestingly, just by doing that Punnett square just there, they're given 4 marks. So it's really, really important that they ask you to draw a diagram like that you do so. The candidate has also provided a very good explanation for why no children will suffer from the disease by using terms such as heterozygous, recessive, dominant correctly. So in the level 3 category, you have to use those key scientific terms correctly, and she has. And she's used them in the correct context. And she scored 6 marks. So a really, really strong response and a good exemplar answer to look at.